When you do it right, it's not a punishment.
In my head.
Hey everybody, hello. If you're new here, I talk about mental health. Please subscribe. But, oh boy, here come the cars. Okay, hello everybody. My normal spots have all been occupied. I'm finding it harder and harder as the weather gets warmer to find a place to be able to talk. So, hello, if you're new here, I do mental health videos Monday through Friday. That may be changing soon as I reconsider the possibilities for what I could actually do. I'm very limited in my space and my resources. But tonight we're going to talk about boundaries. I'll get to some of that at the end if you hold out to the end and want to talk about it. But I'm going to talk tonight about boundaries and consequences and natural consequences and maybe why some of us are enablers and all that kind of good stuff. I'm going to go and find a place where I normally go and hopefully it'll be quiet and I can just get it all out once there. Okay, well, for once I have my headphones off because I was just talking with somebody through the phone and I had the headphones off, so I can actually hear around me and it feels a little better to know what's going on in my environment. I should just take them out of my ears normally. Okay, so boundaries, consequences, and whatnot. I have a video on how to set boundaries if you don't know on this channel, but generally when you set a boundary, you express that you don't like something that somebody is doing, and then you tell them, if you continue to do this, I am going to do this. And that is a consequence, and it's something not meant to punish them. It's not used to control somebody. It's meant to set rules for how somebody should treat you. It's more you-focused than punishing somebody else. Now, I think we have trouble sometimes setting boundaries for a number of different reasons. One of those reasons could be that we don't believe that we deserve to have our own needs met and our own feelings acknowledged, and this could happen from growing up in an invalidating environment where our emotions were not tolerated. We weren't allowed to express ourselves. Maybe we were punished for expressing ourselves. Maybe when we did express ourselves, it went unheard, and our parents had different ideas of what was best for our life. And so we internalized the message that our feelings don't matter, and that's something we have to work on if that's the case, because we deserve to have boundaries and we deserve to be treated the way we want to be treated. I think we also have trouble when it's that we don't want to feel like we're punishing somebody else. And again, this is not meant to be a punishment. This is meant to say, this is how I want to be treated in my space, and if you are not treating me the way that I mean to be treated, that I deserve to be treated, then I'm going to distance myself from you. I'm going to take away some of the things that I am giving to you, whatever. And typically we're enforcing a boundary in the first place because somebody's doing something to us that's harmful, and we may have been expressing ourselves and they're not listening, so a boundary is necessary at that point. You can't just let people walk all over you. You know, I always like to go back to the thought of, if somebody was coming at you with a knife, you wouldn't just let them stab you. You would fight back. You would do something about it, and that's kind of what a boundary is. It's saying, you know what, this is not permissible. You're not allowed to attack me in this way. And when you do it right, it's not a punishment. It's not meant to harm the other person. It's meant to protect you. So some of us, we need to set boundaries and we don't want to because we actually want something from the other person, and we're afraid that if we set a boundary, we're not going to get that we're trying to get from the other person, whether it's love and affection or money or status or something else. So we don't set the boundary because we're afraid of not receiving that from that person. But what we have to understand is, by not setting the boundary, we're in an unhealthy relationship with that person in the first place, and whatever it is we're seeking from them, we can get somewhere else. There are 7 billion plus people on this planet now. We don't need that one person to get whatever it is we're looking for from. So we need to have consequences for their behavior, and we need to have healthy relationships with them. We tend to enable people when we say we would like them to stop doing something and we don't set the consequence, or we don't enforce the consequence that we say we're going to do. And that is a lose-lose situation. We lose because our needs are not getting met and we're not being respected, and the other person loses because they're not learning how to live in the world and how to interact with people in a way that is healthy. We might feel like we don't want the other person to feel pain. Maybe this is our son, our daughter, our sister, our mother, whoever it is. We don't want them to feel pain because we're setting a consequence. But that pain was going to exist anyway. If it's not you that's going to set that consequence, somebody else in their life is, who is not so attached to them. And maybe they need to feel the pain of somebody close to them setting this consequence for them to realize, oh, the way I'm acting is a problem. This is not the way that things are supposed to be. You're not shaming them for what they're doing. You're not telling them they're a bad person. I hope you're not, because that's not how you set a boundary. You're not telling them something about themselves and making them feel bad, but you're saying that the way that you're behaving is not acceptable, and that pain that they feel of some kind of a rejection or whatever it is that they're feeling, they may need to feel that. They may be essential for them to change and to start to become a healthy person. And if we are enabling them by not enforcing the consequences, we're not helping them, we're not helping ourselves, and everybody loses. And I think it's important that we realize that. I'm not sure that there's that much that I have to add to this conversation. I just think that a lot of us think of boundaries as punishment, and we think that we're meant to protect people from punishment or protect people from pain specifically, and that's not the case. We don't need to do that. That's not our job to do that. We're not here to save people. So if you somehow took on that role, realize you're not here to be somebody's savior. I do understand that when you have familial relations with people, you want to treat them well, but that's not how this works. So what you're actually doing when you protect people from the consequences of their actions is you're not protecting them. You are making it so that they are unable to deal with the real world and reality, and you are hindering them. You're giving them a weakness in their personality, a weakness in their mental health. So if there's some kind of weakness in your own mental health, you're actually transferring it to them and continuing that weakness on. So realize that when you enable somebody, that's what you're doing. There's nothing healthy about protecting somebody from the consequences of their own actions. So if you have a story about this, I'd love to hear it. Leave it down below for the community. If you're new here, hit subscribe, hit the bell to get notifications of all of my videos. And I want to talk to some of my subscribers here. I am thinking about switching the format here a little bit because, as I mentioned, it's getting warmer out. There's more people. Somebody just came by, and it's very uncomfortable for me to talk about these topics out in the open with possibly neighbors and people listening who don't really get the thing that I'm doing here, who don't know me. So I am considering, I have to look it over, a whole bunch of information on the YouTube algorithm and how to get known. I don't hide anything from you guys. I want to grow. I'm not okay with just being at the level I'm at. I want to get bigger. And I love the mental health community that's already out there on YouTube. And I want to be a part of that discussion. So I am going to read over the information that came out today about basically how to grow, what the YouTube algorithm's looking for. I already have some ideas just from quickly glancing over it, and I'm probably going to still try to do Monday through Friday, but I'm going to try to do a little bit more planning and see what I can do inside and how I can do maybe videos that are a little bit more satisfying, because I do feel like sometimes I just ramble on here and I don't know how great that is for you as an experience, but I need your feedback. So in addition to any experience you may have with boundaries and whatnot, leave a comment below, or if you know me on Facebook, get in touch with me. Find a way, look for me and find a way to get in touch with me, because I would love to know what kind of things you want to see on this channel. Am I hitting the topics that are interesting to you? Maybe I'm not. Do you like this kind of format where I'm just talking? Would you like more professionally done ones where there's not so much in between everything that I say? Let me know because I want to satisfy you guys. That's what I'm here for. It's not just for me to like blurt out everything that comes out of my mouth. So let me know if you are new here. Please subscribe. I gotta keep saying that because that's my big goal here, is to grow, and subscriptions help me a lot. But I will see you next week. That's the plan right now, is to see you on Monday, and we'll go from there.